student, today we will be doing with our 9th standard bridge course general science subject. So now as I told, bridge course is nothing but you're gonna revise your 8th standard portions. That too not all the topics. There are certain topics which will be useful for your 9th standard also. So here today in today's class I am going to do two topics, that is metals and non-metals, and the other one is conservation of plants and animals. So I am going to do these two topics. Why I have selected these two topics is that metals and non-metals is there even in your 9th and 10th standard portion, and conservation of plants also is there in your 9th and 10th standard portion. So when you are revising that portions now also, so your basics will be very strong, so that it will be easy for you people to learn the subjects in your 9th standards. Okay, so now as I said, today's topic is metals and non-metals. Okay, now what is metal and non-metal? See, metals and non-metals I think you would have learnt in your previous classes also. Now what is a metal? Now let me tell you, the ring which I am wearing in my hand, right, this is a metal which is made up of silver, and the chalk which I am having, this is a non-metal which is made up of calcium. Okay, so now when you see this, I can easily break the chalk. Same way, can I break this easily? Is that possible to break this? No. So the strength, the appearance, the property, everything varies on metals and non-metals. Is it? So now how will you identify a metal and non-metal? Based on which properties you will identify your metals and non-metals. I'm not going to brief you with what exactly is metal and non-metal with respect in detail. I will be giving you a brief description what is a metal and what is a non-metal. I will be writing the differences of your metal and non-metal, and I will explain you what are the major differences. When you are going to your 9th standard and 10th standard, I will be performing certain experiments so that it will be easy for you people to understand the difference between the metal and non-metals. So now let us write the difference between a metal and non-metals, and for each difference I will tell you the exact meaning of it. So now this side we go with our metals, and this side I go with non-metals. Okay. So the first one. See here, metals are solid in structure. I said no, this is solid, and this it will look like solid, but it is not strong enough like this. Okay. So I will write here they are solid. Okay. Here they are pseudo-solids. Pseudo means they might look like solid, but they are exactly not a solid substance. And they also exist in gaseous and liquid form. Pseudo-solid, gaseous means gas. Your oxygen, your nitrogen, your sulfur, those things are all come under non-metals. Okay, so that is gas. And next is liquid, that is your water. Okay, all kind of liquids are said to be your. So these all are under non-metals. This, which the first point I have written right, that is they are solid. Here they are pseudo-solid means false. Pseudo means false. False, solid, gas and liquid. This is with respect to the structure. Then our next property. Okay, the next property, they are shiny. Shiny means they shine. See here, is this chalk? The chalk is shiny or this is shiny. See here, I'll just remove it and show it if you want. See here, this is shiny substance. This chalk you see is shiny or what? So write that as the second point. Shiny. They are not shiny. Okay. Next one. Appearance. I am only talking about your physical properties. I am going to teach only your physical property, not your chemical property. Chemical property I will be doing with experiments in your present 9th standard and your 10th standard classes. Next, third one, malleability and ductility. See, I said what is malleable and ductility, right? And ductile. They are not. See, let me tell what exactly is malleable and what exactly is ductility. So, malleable means you can make the metals into thin sheets. Okay, thin sheets if you make, no, that is your malleable property of metal. Ductility means into wires. You see your switchboard wires, you take out that yellow color, green color, red color wires, you can see the copper wire, it is so thin and we can elaborate it. So that property is your ductility. Metals which can be beaten into thin sheets is malleable. Metal which can be drawn into wires is your ductility. Okay, so that you can do with your metals. See, can I beat this chalk into thin sheets? What it will become? It will become powder. Can we make thin sheets into this chalk? It is not possible. And can you make a wire out of this? That is also not possible. So that is why they are malleable, ductile and they are not. The next property is fourth one. They are good conductors of heat and electricity. Let me tell how. They are good conductors of heat and electricity. See how they are good conductors of electricity and they are not, obviously. I'll tell you why. See, take two things. I'll take example of wood and I'll take example of iron metal. I'm eating both of it. I've kept a stove, I switched on it, and on one side I'm keeping the wood stick and one side I'm keeping an iron rod. I'm eating both of it equally. I'm not giving more heat for this or less heat. Equally I'm giving heat. So now what happens when I'm heating, this wood turns into charcoal and it becomes powder finally. What happens to this? It will just become red hot. We can change the shape, but they will not become powderous. Are you getting it? So I heat the wood, they turn into charcoal and finally they get into ashes. But when I heat the metal, what will happen? It will become red hot. I can change the shape, but they will not lose their nature. That is, they will not become as powderous. So that is a good conductor of heat. Okay. Now electricity, let me tell you. Can you take wood? Okay, let me take wood, rubber. Okay, with rubber it is impossible to create electricity, but with copper wire, your aluminium, your iron and all, you can create electricity. You know, you take a battery, you take one small fan, you connect it with a wire in your cars and all, especially boys. Whenever you get a new car, you will use it for a few days and after that you will dismantle it and you will take the motor out of it and you will do such things like connecting the wire to the battery and then you are placing some few papers so it will rotate and you will say that it is a small fan kind of a thing. So that is possible only with your metal and not with your non-metal. So these are the basic property. That is, first let me tell you, they are solid, they are pseudo-solid, gases and liquid. They are shiny, not shiny. That means for shiny there is another word, that is lustrous. That is, the other word is lustrous. They are non-lustrous. Okay, they are not lustrous. Here they are malleable and ductile, they are not. Here they are good conductor of heat and electricity, they are not. So these are the basic property of metal and non-metal. Now in this topic I have I have discussed the difference between your metals and non-metals. Now after this I will be telling the uses of your metals and your uses of your non-metals. Then we will move to the other topic. we'll go for the uses of metal. Now, first thing, where we use this metal to do what? To produce electricity. As I said, one property of your metal was what? Good conductor of heat and electricity. So, the first thing to produce electricity. Okay, the next property of metal is what? We can make nice furniture with using your metal interior design, that is your windows, your doors, your benches, your tables with metal things. Can you do your interior designing work and also your benches, your furnitures without help of wood? There are two types of furnitures, right children? With wood also you can make a sofa, with metal you can make a bench, isn't it? So that I will write, okay? Making materials. Materials for daily use. Next, important thing. Gold is also a metal. Silver is also a metal. What are we doing? We are doing ornaments, isn't it? See the thing bracelet which I am wearing is also an ornament. The ring which I am wearing is also an ornament. The earring which I am wearing is also an ornament. So all of these are what? These all are your metal substances. So what are we doing? We are preparing or we are manufacturing jewelries. So what I will write? I write another name of ornaments. The third thing is ornaments. Making of ornaments. Ornaments. Yes, necklace. Necklace you are wearing, chains you are wearing, earrings and all those things. Everything is ornaments. So making of ornaments. Okay, so many things we are using with ornament. Okay, and now I don't know what to tell about the gold and which is expensive thing. What almost now most of the girls are liking the artificial gold things. You think artificial? How many people? If you see any kind of thing, what to say, apps also, you see most of accessories, isn't it? Your bracelets, your earrings, your artificial thing, everything is made of gold.
We was wearing 120
Correct.
crores necklace.
So much of
20 crores
making
necklace.
of ornaments are there. Okay.
Example, 120 crores.
So next part. Now the first one is to produce electricity, materials for daily use, and then making of ornaments. The one more thing, we use bells and all, right? Calling bells. When you're doing your puja, you use your bells, isn't it? So that is also made up of metal. By which property? Sonorous property of metal. Okay. Making sound objects with the help of which property? Sonorous property. So making sound elements. Sound instruments or musical instruments. Guitar, children, guitar, when you when you touch or when you beat the strings only, no, you will get the music. That is what is the sonorous property. Musical instrument, veena, violin, all are there, right? So these all come under making instrument. So I write as musical instrument, okay? Making musical instruments. So these are few. I have only listed out few properties, few uses of metals. There are n number of uses of metals. Because daily life we are using, making of automobiles, your cars, your bikes, your autos, your lorries. You see what you will do. You use your metals only to construct your car. The door, metal door, the case, metal case, everything. So many things are there under metals. Now after this, now let me discuss about non-metal uses. Non-metal is also used in every places. I will tell in there in which places we are using. See, uses of non-metals. First one, oxygen. Oxygen is a non-metal. What we use oxygen, it is the best and the important thing of our life. What is it? To breathe in. Without oxygen, if people can survive, even plant cannot survive without oxygen. Only plants need carbon dioxide only during the process of photosynthesis. But apart from that, even plants require oxygen. So if plants require, animals require, ourselves human require, we require oxygen. So oxygen. Oxygen for living beings. Okay, this is there. Next, nitrogen. Nitrogen is also a non-metal. Why we require nitrogen? Nitrogen is very important nutrient for a plant to grow. So, without plants can we survive? It's not possible. So, nitrogen is an important factor for the growth of plants. So, nitrogen growth of plants. And next, wood. What do we use wood? Where do we use wood? Wood to produce your fire, wood to make your furnitures, isn't it? So wood is also non-metal. Furnitures. Next, rubber. Rubber is also a non-metal. Rubber where we use? Do we use it in tires? Correct, children. Your wheels, without wheel, will automobile run, your vehicle run? Not possible. Except your railways. We cannot be traveling only in train, right? You need your bicycle, you need your motorbike, you need your car, you need auto to travel from one place to another. What are the wheels made up of? Made up of tires. What are tires ultimately made up of? Rubbers. So, rubber for tires. So same way, even non-metals have n number of uses, but I have listed only few. Okay. Now by this I complete the topic of metals and non-metals. See, I have discussed what is a metal and what is a non-metal, difference between metal and non-metal, and then uses of your metals and non-metals. Now the next topic which I am going to do is your conservation of plants and animals. I write the heading conservation of plants and animals. Okay, first look at the heading itself, conservation of plants and animals. Now what do you mean by the word conserve? It means protect. Conserve means you are protecting, you are reserving. So, the word conservation means is to protect. See, what are we protecting? You are protecting your plants and animals. To see this word only, I feel actually shame on myself. It's too selfish that we brought our environment into such a stage that we are put up in the stage to do the protection of plants and animals. So that means what? We are destroyed. We have used all our environment for the benefit of ourselves. So I am going to discuss what are the benefits which we have taken from the environment and what is the impact or the bad effect of plants and animals which we have done. The first thing is deforestation. In deforestation means what, children? You are going to cut down the trees, you are going to eliminate, you are going to wash away your forest. For what? For our reason. First thing, we take up all the wood to construct our furnitures, interior works, fireworks, we take wood. Second thing, medicinal plants. We are taking away all the medicinal plants and preparing our, what is it? 3 types of medicine also. We do English medicine, that is your allopathy. We do Ayurvedic medicine, we do Unani, homeopathy, all the type of medicines we require our medicinal plants. Wood went, plants wins. Next is what? We are killing poor animals to take what? We are taking the flesh for other purposes. We are taking the skin for leather, fur, to make coats, all these things. So you are eliminating plants and animals. And the empty land for what we are using? Constructing big multi-story building. One will give for factories, one will give for apartments, one will conduct any kind of community halls or function halls. All we are using. And finally what? You completely destroying your forest. Okay. So now after destroying, what is the drawback of it? Impact. See this coronavirus? That is a very good lesson. What it taught? People were running here and there, complaining here and there that there is no oxygen supply, there is less sufficient of oxygen. Because of oxygen, people started dying. Here oxygen was there, a baby died. Here oxygen is not there, a father died, a mother died. So many news day to day we were listening. For what is the reason behind it? Actually children, the reason is not COVID. The reason was insufficient supply of oxygen. If there is no forest and tree, where we will get oxygen? There is no oxygen, people are dying. This is the worst impact which we have got from destroying the forest. So what can we do? Yes, I know people as a human being, we commit mistake. But when you are doing a mistake, you should know what is the solution for it. So what? If you are cutting down one tree, it is your responsibility to plant 10 trees. That is the drawback which you are giving to your mother nature. So that is your deforestation. Now as I said, to correct deforestation, what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to do afforestation. Afforestation. Afforestation means what, children? You're gonna plant trees. That is, you're recreating a forest again. Okay, so this is one part of your conservation of plants. The next one is your endemic species. The topic, I am going to teach only few topics from it. So the next topic is endemic species. Now what is exactly endemic species? See now, let me tell you. Now Americans who were staying there, he cannot come and settle down in India because the climate, the food, the water will not be suitable for him. Isn't it? Same way, you might think, ma'am, we people are going and settle down in America, no ma'am, in Dubai, no ma'am, how are we settling down? But if you ask the people who are settled down there, they will tell you these certain things which they were feeling very tough to survive there. So, when I use this endemic means the meaning is certain species will only be present in that particular area. Suppose aquatic animal. Can they survive on terrestrial, that is land? They will die. Terrestrial animals, can they survive in water? They will die. And ice like polar bear, your penguins and all, can they survive in normal temperature? No. So endemic species means only in that particular area the animals or plants will survive. Okay, particular area. Can you do that? Particular area, they will survive. Okay. The next one is endangered species. Now, what is endangered species? Endangered means the count of that particular animal is going less throughout the world. That means, so suppose you can take rhinoceros, okay, one horn white rhinoceros, it is not there. Actually, only one organ, that is one rhinoceros was there in Africa. Even that passed away last year. That is, now there is no one horn white rhinoceros at all. Now next endangered species in the list is tiger, because almost the tigers have been killed because people thought that will harm us and most of them started killing it. And then the other one, they wanted the fur and teeth of the tigers, and they started to hunt the tigers, and there is no count of tigers. That is, actually there is a logo also to save tigers. Certain companies are adopting that, so that they are creating awareness so that we have to protect the tigers. So endangered means the organism, the animals or plants whose number is going low, so that they will not be there. In future we cannot see a tiger. Now in future we cannot see a living white rhinoceros. So those things are said to be endangered species. The fourth one is Red Data Book. Now what is Red Data Book? Red Data Book is what? No, it's a book for all, like the entire book is for the world. Now what your Red Data Book, what it consists? No, this kind of endangered species. Like each country, okay, first all the states has to give to the head of the country people, and the country will submit to this owner. What this Red Data Book contains? The Red Data Book contains the list of animals, plants where they are low in number. So what these people will do, once they get the list of the animals and plants, no, they start protecting it. They create a separate place for these animals and plants. They start, like what to say, cultivating that particular plant or growing that plant, and then they will be, what to say, growing this endangered species there. So the Red Data Book, you got the information. All the endangered species detail will be entered into your Red Data Book. And last one is ecosystem. Now what is ecosystem? Ecosystem is nothing but our environment, that is our earth, which consists of both living and non-living things. Human beings, plants, animals, or also an ecosystem. Non-living things, that is oxygen, water, all these are also come into ecosystem. So from this I wanted to tell you people that it's our duty to protect our environment. I'll just tell you one sentence, that we are not superior in this earth. We are among one in this earth. We are not head of the earth. We are not the ruling party of this earth. We are also one among the earth, along with animals, plants, microorganisms, everything. We are also a member of earth. We are not top of the earth. Understood? So keep that in your mind, and always when you grow up also, make sure that you will not harm anyone, anything for your personal benefit. The only thing, try to protect our environment. Understood, children? So by telling this, I am concluding my video. In my next class, I will be doing other two topics which is useful for us. Thank you.